The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center offers a safe transition program to get you well and back to the community. Our outdoor therapy area features different terrains and offers a unique therapeutic experience. Come see the difference. The Woodlands Health and Rehab Center, living made better.
Each will ask a question, then we'll go through and do one more question. So you get 2 questions from each of us, and they'll be very similar to the questions that were asked of Ron.
Okay.
So again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Ms. Hunter?
Do you support consolidation of schools?
Well, sir, at the school level, I would say that our cooperation has been excellent over the past few years. I am a teacher in Allegheny County Public Schools, and I've had the opportunity through Education First Community Group to work with the Covington teachers. And I think that if we cannot come to an agreement on consolidation at the very best, we're doing a great thing by working together in the Education First Community Group to make our schools better. And that's really what sparked my interest in applying for this position, because I taught in the city schools for half of a year, and then I went to Bath County schools for 9 years, and I've been in Allegheny since 2000. So I know the communities very well and how well we do when we do work together. So I'm not sure how I feel about it now. I know that we're doing good things with this Education First, and if that serves the purpose, then we're good.
Thank you.
Why do you, that was probably just answer that
Yes.
question. Why do you want to be appointed to the city school system in particular?
Well, I have lived in Covington most of my adult life. I grew up in the county and then got married and lived in the city, and my kids went to city schools for a while. And I just feel like at this point in my life, I'm close to retirement, that I want to get involved in the school community in which I live. And I want to do that by serving the students that I can't serve in the classroom because I don't teach in Covington anymore. But I'm very close to retirement, just looking out for options to use my knowledge and my ability to work with people in another way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So could you give us your top 3 priorities for the Covington schools if you were appointed to the school board?
Yes, sir. I made a few notes, if that's okay. Having been appointed to work in this Education First Community Group, I feel like that our emphasis on the climate, on literacy, and on safety are our top priorities. I think that we can do all the other things that are coming together for education if our children are literate, and if they're safe and they feel safe, and the teachers feel safe, that our whole community leans on one another to make sure that we all see the need for literacy and see the need for it to begin from birth until, well, literacy never ends, to be honest. I've been learning my entire life, so those would be my emphasis.
Okay. Do you have relatives that work in the Covington school system?
I have a cousin's wife who works at Covington High School as an aide, and then I have friends, but nobody first-hand family.
Okay.
A lot of people who I've adopted as family.
Mr. Hunter?
What do you expect from Covington City Council other than budgetary support?
Oh gosh, well, I believe just from working in the county schools and watching the Board of Supervisors and the school board work together, that the city council and the city school board probably need to do the same thing. And that's, we have to work together, and we have to realize that there are a lot of pots out there that have to be filled. And we just have to make good decisions on that money and make sure that we're doing what's best to move Covington City forward. And our children are our future, and we have to be cognizant of that and make sure that we're doing our best for them.
A lot of these questions are redundant,
That's okay.
so here you go. If you were appointed, what 3-year goals or objectives would you have?
Well, I would continue to get the teachers trained in responsive classroom, which is being used in Edgemont and in Jeter Watson. And I know that because of my work with Education First. And so that we are all trained and making sure that our students feel good about school and that they know that we're there to take care of them and to help them to become literate. I believe that Covington High School has become a demonstration site for fusion reading. I think that we have had a generation of children who have not had literacy at the forefront, and this is an opportunity for them to catch up. I think that's an amazing accomplishment that Covington High School has made, so I would continue with that. And security, in today's world, we have to put it at the forefront. Unfortunately, we have people who decide the way to solve their problems is through angry, violent methods. And so we need to make sure that our children are safe, and our teachers and custodians and everybody that's at the school.
We have to focus on retiring school debt. And as we prepare budgets, there's not always enough money to go around. And I'd like to know how you would deal with budget restraints and how you could move forward with less money than you think you need.
Oh gosh. Well, I think we've been doing that for the past 10 years in both the county and the city, in the education community. It's just the reality of where we are. We live in a small community. We have older population, and we're just going to have to be as creative as we can be. And we have to, I think, demand from our legislators that they do the right thing towards communities like ours. And just be creative, find creative ways to do things that we hadn't thought of before. And sometimes that means change, and change is hard for folks. So we would just need to reassure them that we're doing the best we can for them. And, I have a budget that I live by, and many months, like this month, is car tag month and inspection month, and so that takes a little dent out in taxes. That takes a little dent out of my regular budget, and so I have to compensate for that by doing less of other things. So I think we have to do the same thing here. We just have to look at our budgets, whether it's for the city council, whether it's for the school board, whether it's for the school itself, and make those choices the best that we can. You can't make money that isn't there. You just got to do with what you got. And I've been a single parent most of my adult life, and I've had to do that for a long time. So I would just say that you find the priorities and do the best you can, and let the people know. You have to tell them why. I remember one time my son said to me, "Why can't I have that?" And I said, "Son, we don't have the money." He said, "I don't understand, Mom." So I sat him down with the budget and I showed him exactly where everything was going, and he was amazed that we had what we had. And I think that that's all the folks want from us, from our city council and from our school board, is to understand where the money is going, what it's being appropriated for, and that we're doing the best with that money that we can.
Thank you.
Wow. If we were to form a joint school system with Allegheny County, how would you envision the system's governing body would be comprised, made up, or look like?
Oh gosh, that's a good question, because I know you all have dealt with it both times that we've gotten to the serious point where we might go that way. I don't know what the answer is, Mr. Crozier. I wish I did. because then I think it would happen and it would not be painful. I think that, again, we're going to be looking at hard questions. What's best for the people of the Allegheny Highlands and both sets of students, and do the most creative, fiscal, responsible thing that we can for both sides. And I think sometimes we want to just blame somebody rather than look for the positives. I'm that type of person. I'm going to look for the positives and find a way to get through it. And that's what I think we would have to do. I can't tell you numbers. I haven't gotten to that part of my life yet, political part, but I don't know. You all have 2, 4, 6, 7.
We have
5, and how many do they have?
7 on the board.
All right, I knew I had a 7 number somewhere. It's a 7 and 5. Why couldn't you just make it 5 and maybe 2 from each side and the other one be an open candidate? I'm not sure. I really don't have an answer for that. I would just again say that our focus has to be on doing what's right for the people of Covington, and at the root of mine, what's best for students. And I believe that that's where we have to put our focus in our children, so that they'll come back here and that they'll work and live here so we don't die away.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your time.
We appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for answering questions honestly and good.
And can you explain to me real quick, what's fusion reading? I've never heard of that.
We have 2 programs that both school systems have adopted, iSpire and Fusion. iSpire is for the lowest level student that hasn't picked up all of their phonics and that sort of thing. And then Fusion reading is more directed at the comprehension level and developing those comprehension skills so that students can better be at their grade level. Right now we have children who are coming into, say, the 9th grade, and they read on the 4th grade level. Well, all their textbooks are written at 9th and above, so they don't have the skills to understand that material. This program helps catch them up.
Oh,
Let's use Accelerated Reader.
Accelerated Reader is more of a
Elementary.
No, it's a reward program. I've been heavily involved in the Virginia State Reading Association all of my career, and they are at the state conference almost every year. I've never been there when they weren't. And they really developed that program as a celebratory type of program to get children to read. Do you remember the Pizza Hut program where the kids read a certain number of books and then they got a certificate? It was more along those lines. Now, we don't always use it that way in schools, but that's what Accelerated Reader was for.
So we used it at Boys Home. And what it did for us was to bring for instance, if a child's in 5th grade, but they're reading on a 2nd grade level, usually within a year, we could bring them up almost 5th grade level. But as they read the books, yes, the number of books, but they also had to take tests on the book after they read it. So it was,
and that was the purpose, was to get them excited about the reading they were doing so that they would keep reading. Because it's like any other skill. If you have a student, or if you have an athlete that wants to make a 3-point shot, and he wants to be the best in the world, he'll stand at the 3-point line and throw it and throw it and throw it and throw it many times till he gets his shot down. It's the same thing with reading. You have to read all the time in order to get better at it. But the children who are behind don't have the skills that make that easy, so they don't want it. And that's when Accelerated Reader came in.
Cool.
Yep. You asked about reading, that's my place.
I'd never heard of that.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself, but I had never heard of the fusion thing. So.
All I've ever taught is middle school reading, so you asked the right person. So, all right, y'all have a great evening. Thank you.